Hey guys, Labby Dragon here, coming to you today with a little project. So there are hundreds upon hundreds of pins about craft storage on Pinterest, and I'm in love with pretty much all of them. But today, today we're specifically looking at, so I kind of half started getting into washi tape, even though I'm not like a scrapbooker, and I picked up a little 2-pack of these washi tape dispensers, and actually one of these is electrical tape because I'm the kind of person who actually occasionally needs e-tape as well. But I picked these up and I think they're just absolutely adorable, and I know there are like dozens of like DIY your own washi tape holder, but I had like a coupon and it's a little 2-pack, and these are so cute, except they're all white, and I think I can improve upon that. We're gonna take this and we're gonna make it Mermaid, just like the title of this video says. So you're gonna need whatever washi tape dispenser you want to make. I'm sure there's lots of them. Some of them are like baskets and stuff, and that would be a little difficult to paint, but some of them are like boxes of aluminum foil, and I'm sure you could paint some of these this way too, but I specifically have, this is like Recollections or something. I got it at Michael's, so whatever their like cute little particle board white craft storage set is, that's what this is from, and I have another one, but we're gonna paint this one today. We're gonna paint it Mermaid. So I've got that. You're gonna need various paints. I have some greens because I have some nice, I'm probably going to use the metallic more than the glitter, but I have some like nice metallic and glitter, but those don't really go on well as a first coat. They go on well as a last coat, so I have some just like base green that looks really bright green in this light, but I swear it's less, it's more muted, I swear. And then I'm going to use, actually, to like put do the scale design, I'm going to use some puffy paint. This is going to be subjective, but this is the way I'm going to end up doing it. Unless something changes in the middle of the video. I haven't actually started yet. And I have paint brushes, of course. I'm going to have to... I don't have everything I need. I shouldn't have started the video. Oh my god. But I'm going to have to get something to put the paint on, like a paper plate, or I have some palette paper around here somewhere. I'll find that in the jump cut. And I'm also I have a template that I'm gonna cut out. So I have cardstock that I've printed on, and I have scissors. And I think that's everything that we need today, so let's get started. Okay, I've played around with it, and this is the best filming setup I can get, which is sad. I just still need a better tripod, and I haven't bought one yet. Sorry, guys. So I had a little bit of there's a little bit of stickiness in the bottom of this because there was a warning label down in there, and it was apparently made of just like the worst glue. So I'm just using this like Clorox wipe to try to get a little bit of it up. It doesn't look like that's gonna happen for me. I don't have any Goo Gone right now, and I'm not that concerned, so I might just paint over it. Cause that's the Garbage Hoe way to do things, and sometimes we do things the Garbage Hoe way. But anyway, I also did not find my palette paper. I'm working off of a Bojangles paper plate because it has that nice plastic lining on it, so I know I can put my paint on it. And I'm going to start with my little base coat here. It's going to just make a little pop right off, huh? Okay. And this is, again, the lighting is less than ideal for filming, but at least I can see really well. at least I can see. You don't see the real color on this, but I swear it's less bright green. It's not bright green. It's gonna have that nice metallic over it anyway, so it'll be fine. But this is like white already. I'm just gonna paint right over it. Some people would sand it down or prime it or something, but I'm not gonna. I'm actually gonna start with these edges because these are stackable units, and I don't want to get too much paint in there so that I can still get the little there's little plastic pieces that go in and then help it stack with one on top of it. And I don't want to get too much paint like inside of that. And this whole thing is probably going to take 2 to 3 coats of even just this first green. Because yeah, I probably should have like sanded or primed this, because this is going to be a pain in the butt, to be real honest. So there's my first advice for you. If you were to do this project, do it differently than me, and maybe do something to actually prepare the surface to take paint. I'm just gonna roll along with it because that's sort of my method of video making. I make mistakes so you don't have to? That should be it. Yeah, I make mistakes so you don't have to. But yeah, so I'm just starting along this way, and I'm gonna end up with a nice green base coat eventually in 2 to 3 more coats, probably. This paint is also probably not the greatest. It's just, you know, cheap acrylic craft store paint. Which there's nothing particularly wrong with that, but sometimes it does take a few layers. So I have all the problem areas I'm worried about. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the first side. You just want to take care around these blades. If there's a little bit of white still showing right underneath the blades, it's not the end of the universe, I promise you. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to get right up under that, just for fear of gumming it up so it doesn't work. And look, I already touched my paint job. Y'all just watched me do that. Alright. And then, because I'm hitting this larger section, I'm going to, whatever. I have newspaper, well, not newspaper, I actually have, it's newsprint paper, but it's Trader Joe's. I don't actually shop at Trader Joe. I just get their mailer thing because we live near one, so they send out their random mailer. There's a little hair on that. God damn it. No, that's not gonna, I don't want to do that. Just gonna scrape it with my fingernail. Why not? I already have paint on me. And I like to try to do get as few brush strokes on as possible. But again, with this sort of lower quality paint, it's really hard to not just have brush strokes everywhere. And I'm actually moving on to the bottom here. since I can reach it from where this is positioned right now. Of course, this is also a little bit subjective to just how I decide to paint. The order is not important, just that you get a nice all-over green and you don't get too much paint in your little holes if you have this same or any other like wooden stacking unit. And this is, of course, thinking about doing the other one in purple, making it like a purple mermaid. So I have a purple and green set. Or I may paint the other one and just sell it in my Etsy shop. When you go to get these, if you go to buy like this exact thing at Michael's, do not forget to take do not forget to check if they're on sale. I think I just moved the camera. Check if they're on sale. Take a coupon to like load the app onto your phone and take a coupon when you go, because the 2-pack is fairly, well, not super pricey, but you'll like the price better with a coupon. Trust me. I sure did. Gosh, looking at this right now, you could also do, like, the color I'm using could make, like, a really good watermelon, because it's so uneven right now. It just reminds me of a watermelon. Which, as we all know, I'm a former watermelon queen. So it would actually be rather fitting, but I'm gonna go whole hog and go mermaid still. We're gonna paint the inside of this eventually too, as well as that backside. But for now, I'm just chatting with y'all while I paint this layer. Alright. So I'm at a point where I'm going to have to wait for this to dry before I can do another layer, but you can maybe kind of see what I'm talking about. It looks a little like a marbleized watermelon type of thing in its current state. I'm going to cut out some of this painting. I'm going to come back to you after the inside and backside are done and after the second coat is done. And I'll show you what it looks like after the second coat and if I need a third coat or not. So actually, during some of the time we're waiting for that to dry, we can actually go cut out our template here. So I obviously don't need this whole template, or not necessarily obviously, but I'm telling you I don't need this whole template. I just need like a row from this template, but this is, I just found this online. I will put a link to where I found it in the description of this video. First, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out the whole design. keep my bigger scraps because I'm a little bit of a hoarder. A little bit. That's kind of an understatement. I have difficulty getting rid of things. Alright, so what I really need is the scalloped edge of like one row of this. So I'm going to take this first row down here, and I'm just going to cut out the shape of the scales. I am going to use this to trace all my little scalesies on with. Alright, so got that. And what I'm going to try to do, and that's why I have so much of this, because I have room to screw up. What I'm going to try to do is cut in the straightest possible line along the bottom of the pattern, or along the like top of the next row of scales where the rows of scales meet, and just get myself just one little row. And it's probably not gonna be perfect, but I'm also not like, I kind of want it to look a little handmade, but not, or hand done, like kind of show its hand doneness, but not so much so that it's not recognizable or that it looks like a 5-year-old did it. So here I have my one little row. We're gonna set that aside for later, and hopefully this will work out for me. I did a couple of like test pieces, but I didn't find any scales among my patterns. I didn't find anything I could use for scales that was as small as I wanted it to be. So I just got a size that seems appropriate for the project I'm actually doing. Well, there we go. That's your template. You can set that aside and deal with it later. Also, not sure how well this is gonna go for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the rod painted, because I think it might end up looking a little weird if it's just white in there. So we're just gonna paint it to match. Although round objects, not sure about painting round objects. I am no master painter. by any standard. Right, I'm gonna do just that much for right now. And let it dry a little, do another coat, and then get that piece that I missed. So this is where I'm at with 2 layers of paint on every side. Another layer probably could help even out, but I'm just gonna go ahead and call it artistic and start with my metallic layer, because I have this nice metallic that's going to take also a couple of layers to really show up. So I'm going to go ahead, start on that. Actually, I need to finish the other side of this stick. I'm using a sponge right now because that's what I picked up. I thought maybe it would go better if I was like sponging it, but all I had is a makeup sponge, and I'm not sure if that's what's bad or if it's just that sponges aren't that great to begin with. Like I said, this is kind of a like learn along with me, not so much a I'm an expert and I'm gonna teach you things. So really, actually, except for maybe sewing projects, whether I can do it really well is a pretty good barometer of how just an ordinary person with mildly craftily inclined person, I don't know, but not someone who has to be like absolutely DIY or die. Whether someone at that sort of crafting level can do a project. And I mean, obviously this is just painting, but painting is somehow just one of my weak points. Not terribly good at it. Alright. Squeeze out some healthy globules of my metallic paint here and get going. It's a little tacky still. Probably shouldn't, but I will. Actually, I'll just start with the bottom here. We'll see how that goes. This is probably the driest part. I think this is actually think this is going to turn out really nice, because it's going to be not quite even, so it's going to look a little oceany in my opinion. So it really really sort of like really uneven painting just kind of makes me think of oceany. Like the waves and the light not really like dispersing properly. This is how this is looking so far. Receiving text messages. Aplenty. Eep. Yeah, I guess we're still a little sticky on the top. Alright. Let's put that there. I'm gonna start on this panel this side panel up here that I ended up glopping onto a little much. Alright, but yeah, that's what we're headed towards here. And I will show you once I've got a couple coats of that on. So yeah, I took a couple days break on this project, but now I'm back at it. So our next step is putting our scales on. So we previously cut out our little piece here. I'm gonna try this out right in front of your face. I have this white gel pen. You could probably also do it with chalk or something that I'm going to make some guidelines for before we use the puffy paint to make them nice and dimensional and fun. So, what I'm going to do is decide how I want this to start here. Line it up with my edge. And I wish this camera angle was better. I'm so sorry. Alright, gonna move real quick. So if you can see there, I'm just lined up with the edge, and that's my starting edge. Okay, the camera was not playing nice with me after that last move, but so here we are. This is the best I can do for the moment. Sorry, but if you have traced things before for other projects, I've just decided I'm gonna put that half scale on the one side, make that my starting side after all instead of the other. And I'm gonna take my gel pen and just start tracing. This is actually working out fairly well. You just gotta be careful not to like drag your hands through the gel pen, because it will be wet for a little while. It may in fact be wet forever, depending. I don't know how well this is gonna dry as far as not being able to like just wipe it off accidentally. Alright, and I have my first row of scales there. I actually should have lined up to the divots in my scales, because those scales don't really come down far enough now, do they? So I'm gonna have to make an extra partial row to make that really look filled in the way it's supposed to be. So you can see I have a little half row there just to keep the pattern up. Alright, and so fixing my mistake from last time, I'm gonna make sure that the points here, you want these points to touch the middles of the round part of the scale in the row before it. And that's how you want to line it up. And like so, all the way down on all of your sides. Bit of a time-consuming process, but you know what? Gonna be worth it. It already looks super mermaidy, and using the puffy paint is gonna take it just that one step further. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to do your outlines and whatever you did your lines in was good enough for you. Maybe you just did a little paint or something already instead of gel pen, but I'm gonna go for that extra dimensional touch there. But yeah, you don't need to watch all of this. You get the idea, hopefully. If not, ask ask me some questions in the comments and I will come in and try to help. Alright, I will come back to you when I have more of this done. Okay, so here I am, like an hour and one dropping my camera again later. And I have all my scales drawn out all over. Well, not on the bottom because you don't need them on the bottom. But I have all my scales drawn out all over my box. I haven't done the very top edges here. I'm not doing anything extra to the stick here either, because all of that seems completely ridiculous to me. I'm not doing it on the inside, just because that looks like a pain, and like I said, just drawing in the scales did take an hour. So that is plenty of work, but it is so gorgeous already. Like, I'm already so happy about this box. Under the harsh light, it looks a little more shitty, but that light is largely to make sure you can see what I'm doing, and that I can see what I'm doing. But, like, in person, and in, like, a normal lighting, it's so amazing. But I'm gonna do my best to show you what the next step. You could obviously stop at this step, and this would be perfectly gorgeous. But I want to do the little dimensional. This was my idea to begin with, to go with some dimensional tulip puffy paint. I don't even know if there are other brands that make puffy paint, but good old tulip, you know? So let's see what's gonna be the easiest way here, because I couldn't get a better angle on my camera because everything sucks. I will buy a new, I will absolutely buy an actually functioning tripod one day and stop doing this to you guys, but right now I'm broke because of burlesque. So you might not be able to see this real well, but basically the concept is I'm just gonna take my puffy paint, which has a nice precision tip, and I am just gonna paint over all of these lines that I made and try to do it as evenly as possible. Air bubbles will be the death of me. Potentially. That would be a completely legitimate way to die. And this is probably going to be an even more painstaking process. Just trying to keep your hands out of the paint if you want to keep going. Row to row, and then waiting for each side to dry. So I'm going to do a little bit of this on camera, but I am not going to do all of it on camera, because I will drive myself crazy talking to only myself, and having nothing else to do. I generally prefer to craft with, like, television or YouTube videos on in the background. A lot of Game Grumps, a lot of Markiplier. Sometimes I watch anime on Hulu in the background. Been trying to get all the way through Ranma 1/2 lately, because that was one that I never got to watch the anime as a kid, but I read a bunch of the manga, but like not in order and not all of it even remotely, because there's so much of it. God damn it, Takahashi. Anyway. But, alright. Coming up on the end of this row. You can see starting to have some dimensional stuff going on here. And that's just what we're going for. I might have made that first row a little thicker than I was intending to, but you know how crafting goes. When I was in art school, my color theory class, there was a girl, we had to do a pointillism project, and there was a girl who did hers entirely in puffy paint. She brought like a hairdryer to class so she could work on it, because she would like put out a whole bunch of dots and then blow dry them so they'd dry faster and then do a whole bunch more. I was also doing a time-consuming pointillism project, because it is in fact time-consuming to make so many little dots, but that particular project with having to wait and like try to hair dryer dry stuff super quick, that just is not necessarily my patience level. I did mine in colored pencil so that I could just stab at the cardboard and be done. Well, not cardboard, but whatever paper I did it on. It ended up mounted on on foam board. It was some kind of paper that I was working on. It's actually one of the few things that came out of my time at art school that I'm actually kind of proud of. Like, I really liked it. I don't know that I like it anymore, but at the time I definitely really liked it, and that means something to me. Like, the fact that I was like super happy with it at the time means that at the time it was like an important stage in my evolution, even if it's not like as good as stuff I think I could do now or something. Plus, tastes change. You like make art that's like important to you, or you like think is super cute. Just had a little blowout that's fucking annoying. And I have not given myself anything to clean paint up with. Alright. Fingernails, don't fail me. No, I'm too afraid. I'm so afraid, you guys. So, yeah. My advice to you, keep a brush handy to clean up little blowouts, because there will be air in your puffy paint bottle, because that is just the nature of puffy paint. Sometimes there's a little bit of air and it blows and goes everywhere. I've forgotten what I was talking about before that happened. But I'm going to let you see where I'm at right now. So I've got these 3 rows, and it's turning out just absolutely great. So I am going to keep going with this, and I will be back with you all in probably a couple of hours. This will probably take even longer than the tracing out did with the gel pen. Oh, yeah, like I was saying about the art class thing, it reminded me to say that if you are trying to wait for this to dry and trying to get it done a little bit faster, apparently a hair blow dryer is a thing I remember that helps dry out puffy paint faster. Or I guess I imagine heat setting mini paints probably works. But yeah, that's a suggestion if you're feeling impatient about your dry time. Alright, I will see you when all of this is done. So I just want you all to be able to laugh at / with me. So I decided to put glitter on this, thinking, oh, I'll put glitter and it'll stick to the paint and not the, and then I can just tap it off and blow off the excess. And that is, it's not happening. Like, the glitter is really sticking to the green as well. And that's, I like a lot of glitter, but it's actually, too much glitter, so when this dries, I'm gonna have to take like a paintbrush and try to brush off as much glitter as possible. Because I wound up with too much glitter. I just personally think it's funny, so I'm just sharing this stage in development with you. But yeah, as you can see, I have a whole side done, and I'm gonna be waiting for this to dry, because I don't know how I feel about putting a hairdryer on glitter, on that much glitter. It seems like not a good idea. I don't really know though. But I have other stuff to do, so I'm just gonna let it dry, air dry. So after a couple days of putting on the puffy paint, here I am. I've arrived at a final product. And this actually just absolutely turned out spectacularly. I did that little bit of glitter, and it's like just enough texture and pop, and the whole thing is just, it really came out so great. And I've got my little washi tapes, my flamingos and my watermelon, and then my Halloween stuff. Because that's me in a nutshell, flamingos and watermelon and Halloween. Like, if Halloween were in summer, that would be the only thing that would make me happier. And I know that sounds horrifying to a lot of people because summer is hot, but you know, I love summer, but also specifically I love Halloween. I don't love fall, I love Halloween. But yes, I'm so happy with this. Obviously, don't do any scales on the bottom. Don't let that kind of negativity into your life. And on the inside is kind of futile as well, so as you can see, I did not do any of that. I mean, if you want to do the edges and the insides, like, kudos to you. This is enough for me. I think this looks absolutely freaking gorgeous. In fact, I think it looks so good that I am already starting on another one, this purple one. I did, so warning, if you buy these ones, like these white ones, at Michael's, like I did try to sand this one down to try to make this, to try to help even out the painting process. As you can see, the painting process has not evened out. This is 2 coats in on the sides that are painted here. Because I just took just a piece of sandpaper, like the highest like grit sandpaper. Actually, I started with a medium grade and then went to a higher grade because it wasn't working, and then the higher grade still wasn't working. So I'm like, you need like an industrial sander or something, I don't know. So I know at one point I said if I did it differently I would sandpaper, and I attempted to do that, and it actually just did not, it was not happening for me. I don't know if I needed like an actual like belt sander machine or like electronic tool, not electronic per se, but power tool. That's the word I'm looking for. I swear I actually work with these tools for a living. I just don't know what they're called for some reason. But if that would have like helped, or if it would have completely destroyed the integrity of the object. Both I and my partner were like completely confused as to why, like, I was like sanding for a long time and it just, you could see that it was scratched, but it just didn't feel scratched at all. I was making no progress. So fair warning, you may just have to, like, in the end, really, I don't think it's that bad, especially if you're making it for yourself and you're like just trying to make something look pretty. Like, it actually looks really freaking gorgeous with the pearlized, with the like metallic pearlized top layer. And yes, it is, I mean, it is uneven on the inside, but you know, if you wanna, you can fight that battle for longer than I did. I just didn't have the stamina to fight that battle, and I'm actually happy with the end result. So yeah, so that's it. That's now, if you followed the tutorial along, now you have a wonderful Mermaid washi tape dispenser. So if you did it, definitely like hit me up somewhere on social media, send me a picture, you know, comments, links, how did it go for you? Did you find out something that worked even better? Like, let people know, because I'm sure if one person tries the project, other people will want to try it and they'll want to know what you did that maybe turned out better than mine. So, alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!